on how to really build a set of IBS shocks. MCD have done a video, but there's no dialogue in it. I think it's a bit more helpful if people are explaining what they're doing while they're doing it. So what you'll need, I use a big shifter, maybe a pair of grips. If you need to change the ball ends, you'll need the tool, syringe, fork oil, 2.5 weight, the little needle to stop the stuff coming out when you, the oil coming out when you remove the cap, floating piston tool, and your bits. This is a full shock. There's nothing in it at the minute, but that's why I'm rebuilding them. So we'll start by, you've got 2 little springs and 2 4mm ball bearings. The ball bearings go in here and here. They sit in, and these springs sitting there on top of the balls. Just watch the spring out, and then you can pop that on there. This little cap, 2mm bit, and pop that in there like so. Give it a nip. That's it, lovely. Handy to have a cloth around, just fork oil's horrible. And over there, oops, it hasn't got a piston on. What we'll do is we'll push that through there. We shall build the piston up first. So your little washer goes on top first, on top of the shaft this is, and then you've got a little diaphragm or plate, whatever they call them, shim, on top of there. And your piston with the recessed, it's got a recess in the top that faces up, and your little nut slides on there like that. I'm rebuilding it inside the shock here. Normally you don't have to, if you haven't got the bottom on, you can slide the shaft in from the inside. Nip this up. Doesn't have to be super tight like that. And then you've got this sleeve which slides over the top of the piston and sits inside like so. I'll put that on the stand for now because we don't need that just yet. For this you need your floating piston spacer. Your floating piston's inside here. This is rebuilt. It's got new O-rings, new rubber on, and it goes in with this recessed side facing down, and then you push it in through the threaded end, the internally threaded end, like that. Because what happens is later on this spring sits in that recess like that. But you don't need to do that just yet. That's one of the last things you do. I want you to do your O-ring here. You stick a bit of, just flows, a bit of glue, a bit of fork oil, and screw that on like so. This one you can nip up for now, so you don't need to take this off after. Nip that one up. This is where you use the floating piston guide. Push that in inside there, make that. I'll pull this screw out here. This one as well. I'll pull them out. All these screws have had fresh O-rings on. Tiny little O-rings. These should have been out anyway, to be fair. But got that. Pop that inside like so. Pop this cap on. Just snug it up. Doesn't have to be tight at the minute. Push the floating piston all the way down to the bottom like that. You can leave that in there. I'll show you. It should sit. It should sit flush with the bottom of that there. Just leave that on for now. It doesn't need to be tight. You can just leave that. And now you can screw these back in. All the way in until they don't have to be tight, all the way until they're snug. Just nip them up like that. And what I do is I use the Allen key, this Allen key on the, and I wind them out 4 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And then the next part is we need to fill the shock. You see, you fill the oil into this centre piece and leave maybe just a 3 mil gap in between the oil and the top of this plate. So I'll put that in there. Just not enough. Second. A little bit more of that. And shall about there. It doesn't have to be massively accurate because you're going to pull oil in later on. Once you get to this point, you can screw the cap on. Keep this all the way down. Keep the shaft all the way at the bottom, like so. Like that. And nip that up. That's nice. So now what you can do is, this is where you need your syringe. Pull the plunger out like that. Your syringe screws into the hole, where you'd put the cap. Just snug it up like that. Again, you need some more fluid. Pop that in there for a second. What you want to do is you want to fill this a good amount in, and you'll see, I'm not sure if you'll see it, you should. Look at the bubbles, lots of bubbles coming out, and you just continue bleeding, pumping, bleeding until you have 0 air. Now, I'm not sure if you can see that now. On the sides, move it about. Just make sure you don't suck any more air in. And I think that's it. There we are, 0 bubbles. Now what you need to do is take a little needle that fits just in the hole there like that. Blocks the flow to it. And once you pull this off with that needle in the hole, you shouldn't get much leakage. Pop that in there, and then take your outer screw and give that a wind in. Nip that up, clean the top off. You'll notice now that the shock is solid. It'll not go anywhere. So this is the point where you unscrew this bottom cap. Take out the piston tool, spring in, because there's pressure behind that now. So it takes a little bit of force to get this on, but It will go on oil stuff. Once you've got a thread, it's fine. And then wind it on. Nip that up. Make sure everything's nipped. And now you should have a lovely, perfectly working IBS shock. To adjust them, obviously I've already come 4 turns out, but I'll just show you. Your rebound is how fast it comes out if I screw that further in. You'll see, it's nice and easy, but how slow it comes out. Stick that in there. The more I screw that, the faster it comes out, and that's your rebound. So I'll put that back to stock. 1, 2, 3, 4, and your compression. Screw that in. Quite hard to press in. It'll still come back with the same speed because your rebound set the same. I'll go even more on that. You see, I can barely press that in there. I'm struggling. But it still comes out. Jesus. But it still comes out nice and smooth. Put that back to stock. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll have the nice smooth working shock again. So that's how you rebuild an IBS shock.